We have a blockbuster story for you today that even for this administration is outrageous. And we've come to expect a lot of corruption, cronyism, and nepotism from this administration. Now, the headline alone is the sort of thing you'd think is from like a satire site, but there has been a serious investigation done by ProPublica. It's about Donald Trump, the White House, and a globally infamous figure named Andrew Tate, the alleged sex trafficker and self-proclaimed misogynist. Now, here is what ProPublica's reporting reveals. When Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan landed in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, back in February, they were immediately detained by Customs and Border Protection, and all of their electronic devices were seized. Now, keep in mind, these were two individuals facing allegations of sex trafficking women in 3 different countries, including Romania, where they've been indicted. So federal authorities, as is standard in these cases, they were preparing to look at the contents of their devices. Totally normal and expected, but they hit a wall. And I know many of you already know where this is going. Behind the scenes, the Trump White House got involved to help him. A White House official instructed senior Department of Homeland Security officials to give him back their devices. The official who delivered this message was Paul Ingrassia. Paul Ingrassia is a lawyer who, before joining the administration as the DHS liaison, previously represented the Tate brothers. You can probably tell where this is going. A White House lawyer who's a former attorney for Andrew Tate told federal law enforcement, back off, give them their devices, give them the evidence back. And that directive was coming from the White House itself. Now, according to ProPublica's investigation and interviews and records that have been reviewed, Ingrassia reportedly criticized authorities for seizing the devices in the first place, saying, why are you doing this? This isn't a good use of time. This isn't a good use of resources. And so the message was very clear. It was really not a request. It was kind of a demand. This is coming from the top. This is Trump getting involved. Now, the reaction from the law enforcement officials was that they were disgusted by the request's brazenness and the high-handed expectation that, of course, you're going to comply. Another quote, it was so offensive to what we're all here to do, to uphold the law and protect the American people. Law enforcement experts have been asked about this, and they said, yeah, that's really unusual. It's irregular. It's odd. A retired assistant director for Homeland Security investigations, John Tobin, said, I've never heard of anything like that in my 30 years working. He said it's an intimidation tactic from the White House. So this is not a matter of foreign policy. It's not a matter of national security. This is the White House saying this specific investigation into an accused sex trafficker who just so happens to be a friend of Trump's. We are getting involved in that and that alone. It is the politicization of law enforcement to benefit a political ally. So then we get to the cronyism. Andrew Tate has been a very vocal Trump supporter, part of this manosphere, this group of influencers who kind of help, really in a way, help deliver young male voters to the former president. Trump has been called by Tate, or rather Tate has said, Trump is the president, the Tates will be free and Trump is the president, as some kind of sort of like victorious rallying cry. The good old days are back. And so Tate is a fan of Trump's, and all of a sudden the Trump administration gets involved in this case that involves allegations of sex trafficking. Now, we've seen Trump urge the Justice Department before to go after particular foes and certainly to pardon political allies. And now we see the administration trying to interfere with a specific investigation of someone who is, at the end of the day, kind of like a cultural ally of Trump, a political ally as well. Now, if the name Paul Ingrassia rings a bell, that's because he previously was nominated by Trump to lead the Office of Special Counsel. That nomination collapsed when there were reports of Ingrassia's racist text messages where he said he has a Nazi streak about himself. He said that about himself. That imploded, so now he got another job. The White House and DHS were asked about this. They declined to answer questions. Ingracia denied the intervention, said nothing happened. That's just a flat denial. Nothing happened. So the bottom line remains: White House official intervenes on behalf of an alleged sex trafficker who's also a high-profile political ally with a huge following of Donald Trump's. And it's a very obvious abuse of power. It's a clear violation of government ethics. It's another piece of evidence that this administration sees the DOJ and DHS as bodies of political favor and political retribution, depending on what they want to do. So it's not really about Tate. It's not specifically about him. It could be about anybody. It just so happens to be that this is an administration that is not casually or indifferently horrible. It's proactively disgusting what they are doing. And somehow, 38% of the country still supports it. A very low number as far as presidential approval is concerned, but a very high number when you say, how could anyone see this and still support it? Thanks for watching. Check out another one of our videos and make sure to subscribe so YouTube keeps our content in your feed. And if you prefer audio, subscribe to the podcast on Spotify or Apple.